Hey guys, Scott here. Today I want to talk about a discussion I've seen on forums and things like that where killers are worried that gens are going to go even faster now in the next patch because healing is going to be de-incentivized so much that people might just forego it entirely and just do gens. And first off, I want to try to get in the mindset of where they're even coming from with this because I guess I kind of get it, but let me make an extreme example to kind of point out how silly this logic is. So what if we just made healing impossible? You just physically can never heal ever again. Would these same people say that's a nerf to killer because now there is zero incentive to do anything but generators? That's it. So would they say that if we remove the ability to heal, is that now a nerf to killers? What if we go in the other direction? What if we made healing, take 6 seconds instead of like the 16 seconds now? That means everyone is going to spend time healing, right? But then they're just going to say, well, hey, that's less time they're on gens, but now my chases take twice as long because I have to hit them twice, and now I'm still getting gen rush just as much because I can't down people fast enough now. It's like if if healing is faster, it's bad. If healing is slower, then it's bad. Like, I don't know what do you guys want? There's no like scenario in which you guys are happy with the state of the game. So I don't know what you want. So if you bring up like silly examples like that, it kind of shows how to an extreme example degree, it's kind of silly. They're not going to be happy regardless of what happens. There's always going to be something to complain about. But let's go into the actual discussion of where their logic is coming from. So the main point of contention with them is that it's actually kind of not a theory, a point that I've made before. So I'm actually going to agree with them to a little bit of an extent. So if healing is de-incentivized a lot, it might make casual players accidentally better at the game. For example, if you're going against the Legion, right? The correct play against Legion almost every time is just not bother healing because Legion's entire power is to injure you very quickly, but he can't really do anything to down you quickly. And so the way you beat Legion is you just don't bother healing. Now he has no power. And obviously you're still one shot, but he can't sneak up on you. There's no way to for him to get the jump on you other than having perks and stuff like that. So Legion ends up being not very threatening if that's the case. However, if you've played any game of solo queue, you will see your teammates healing over and over and over against Legion. And so if we make healing so bad that they're not even going to bother, it might accidentally make Legion weaker and thus be a nerf to that specific killer because survivors will unintentionally do the correct play against that killer. And yeah, there's some merit there if you extrapolate that to the entire killer base. But it's not quite as strong because that's mostly just a Legion-specific example I brought up to show you where their mind is at because I do kind of get where they're coming from. But the whole thing is most killers are not really like that. For example, if you have stealth killers that are not very good, Wraith, Myers, Ghostface, Pig, staying injured against those killers is actually kind of scary. You've always heard the whole thing that good players don't care about remaining injured, and that's mostly true, except when you have stealth killers, because it doesn't matter how good you are, if you're ambushed before you can physically react to them, approaching you, you can be the best looper in the world. You're still going to go down in 2 seconds. So it doesn't actually matter, and that's why even good players are scared about stealth killers. And so for killers like that, they're going to be stronger. What about killers like, Nurse or Blight or Wesker or Huntress or Demo or, I got all these killers that are going to be a bit stronger. That don't have that stealth ability, right? For them, yeah, it's actually not as bad being injured. But again, that was in the old version of the game. In this version of the game, Dead Hard is significantly nerfed. I'm not sure whether it's going to go the way that we've currently seen it, where if you dead hard, it just goes away entirely. Previously on the patch notes, it said that if you dead hard and it fails, you'll retain the dead hard until you hit a successful one, but now I don't even know if that's going to be the case. Regardless of one or the other, dead hard is going to be way less prevalent, and thus being injured is going to be way riskier, whereas normally a Huntress, that's going to beam you with a hatchet would be scary if you're running around the map injured. If you have dead hard, not that scary, but if people aren't running dead hard anymore, it's going to be way scarier to be injured. So if you combine the rise in prevalence of stealth killers, people are going to run more stealth perks and more chase perks as well. And then we have the nerfing of Dead Hard, and we have a concoction of where being injured is actually way scarier than it used to be. So now we have a scenario where healing takes too long, but being injured is also worse than it used to be. And when you have a scenario like that, I don't see how you could ever possibly see that as anything but killer-sided. That has to be a killer-sided change. Just because people are going to be incentivized to do gens more doesn't mean the gens are going to go faster. What's going to happen is the gens are going to be worked on more frequently, but people are going to go down twice as fast as well. and downing people is the best slowdown perk in the game. I've always said it's better than any perk. Downing one survivor and putting them on a hook occupies that survivor, and it occupies at bare minimum another survivor. There's no real perk in the game that does that much work for you. Simply downing someone is the best slowdown you can get. And so, if we are in the scenario where you're getting more downs because everyone's always injured, the games will go slower. Even if people are incentivized to do gens more, it'll be naturally offset by the fact that they will last half as long in a chase. And that's, I guess, the whole main counterpoint to that. So yeah, I understand where people are coming from with this logic, but again, if we're downing people twice as fast, it's just not going to be as bad. Now, they always mention that gen regression has been completely destroyed as well. And I don't know why every time. 3 perks, one particular build. Colorblind Overcharge, Pain Resonance, holding 3 gens for 45 minutes. That's the only thing that was affected. You still have Corrupt, you still have Jolt, you still have No Way Out, you still have fucking Oppression if you want to. You have Pop, which is not as good as it used to be, but comparatively still actually pretty decent now. There are still a ton of slowdown perks that might not be, enough to hold the game hostage for 45 minutes. Which good, that's stupid. You should never have a 4-minute game, and you should never have a 45-minute game. It should be nicely towards the 10 to 12-minute range, in my opinion. So I'm glad that 3-gen build is gone, but you still have a ton of slowdown builds. But here's the thing, and this is what the devs are trying to work towards, and why I actually am more positive about this patch than most people are. I do think the altruistic healing nerf is stupid. That should still be 16 seconds. It's self-healing, that's the problem. I'll reiterate that every time. But for the most part, I think what's going to happen is killers, instead of running, Call of Brine, Eruption, Overcharge, and Pain Resonance, they're going to run... Oh yeah, Eruption's still really good too, by the way. People are going to maybe run just Corrupt Intervention and No Way Out. Maybe some slowdown for the beginning, slowdown for the end, or something like that. And instead of running 4 slowdowns, they might run more chase perks, which makes being injured even more scary. If they have things like, I don't know, like, I guess Tinker's not a chase perk, but any stealth-related perk is going to make being injured much scarier. Spirit Fury Enduring is going to be very scary if you're going to remain injured. I think killers are going to be incentivized to run more chase perks, which makes the game more chase-oriented. And that is, I think, what they're going for, moving away from slowing down the game with just repeated gen kicks and go to slowing down the game with downing survivors and everyone is in chases and stuff like that. That's what they're trying to get to. Now, they're not necessarily hitting it this patch, but I think that's what they're trying to build towards, and that's why I'm kind of like okay with where the game is going towards, again, other than the altruistic healing. But overall, are gens going to go faster? No, I don't think they will. Yes, the main annoying hold hostage build has been nerfed, but there's still a ton of other slowdowns you can use. Chase perks are now more incentivized because if people are injured, a Spirit Fury Enduring is now not going to get you a hit, it's going to get you a down instead now. And Sloppy Butcher is going to be an insane amount of value if you do have a stealth killer because, staying injured against a stealth killer is just a death sentence. And so, yes, people will be incentivized to repair gens more. They will also go down much faster. I think it's just going to offset itself, and we're going to honestly be in pretty much the exact same spot, except there'll be less 3-genning and more chases, which I see that as an absolute win. Whether this will actually happen, I don't know. Let's see. I do think they're going to roll back the healing nerfs quite a bit, which is going to be funny because people are going to be bitching about that the same way. Oh, if we make healing take too long, then they're not going to heal. Well, what if we reverted to 20 seconds? Well, now they're going to be healed. Now my chases take too long. They're never going to be happy. It doesn't matter. But overall, I think the speeds of gens will be roughly the exact same. It's just the game itself will be kind of different around it. But I'm curious to see. Maybe I'll be wrong. I don't know. It's too soon to tell. But I'm interested to see because it's at least it's interesting and different. That's it. Thanks for watching.